Welcome again to Tuesday night with me and Lee for Limitless DxT coverage of Limitless Formula Racing, Tuesday night racing here for the round 15, the Texas Grand Prix. I've said Lee's here with me already tonight. How you doing, Lee?
Fun dubby doozy.
Oh, that's better, Lee. So are you looking forward to Texas then? You were in last week in the race, to be fair.
Yeah, and if I could swear right now, I would. But for me, personally, as I just could not keep it on the track. The amount of track limit penalties I racked up was just too many. I should have been more careful.
You definitely should have been. I think I got 6 seconds. How many did you get, Lee?
I'm not one to say it. I'm not one to say it. It was, what was it? It was like, put it this way, it was about half a lap's worth of penalties. That's how bad it got.
Was it about 36 seconds or something like that?
I think it was 33. 36 was the limit though.
Now Lee, just to cut you off, have we not noticed something incredibly interesting? There's been over a minute gone in the session and no one has left the garage. And I think there's a good reason for that. I think it might be rain in the race.
Oh, what? No
so
way.
It was harder for us it was hard enough for us last week. But for these guys, I think it's going to be on a whole other level now. The other thing to add, obviously we've got 17 drivers now, just talking about our experiences of the track. There's 17 drivers, there should be 18, so we should have Mars joining in this first part of qualifying. But crucially, 3 of the drivers from last week have got qualifying bans, so we're actually going to see our championship leader, Brandon, at the back of the field. With King Panda and Mars, who hasn't with us yet. So this first session, Lee, is pretty much a practice session we're watching.
Yeah, so it's gives us time to possibly see what people are going to be like, how it's going to be and affect them. I mean, I've just had information that it's going to be rain for the first 45 minutes of the race, roughly.
Okay, so we're going to have a dry spell right at the end. So this is... Yeah, so this, if anyone didn't know, this is actually going to be the longest race of the year. We have the second longest race the next week, which we did last night at Singapore, and usually that would be the longest, but as we're doing a 100% distance instead of 50 here, it's just over an hour. It's 61 minutes, obviously not as much as a full Grand Prix 100% distance, which is around an hour and a half. So it's, would you say, Lee, it's around that 70 to 75% mark, this race?
Somewhere about there, yeah. I would say about that, yeah.
In time-wise, anyway, not in miles, of course, because that's how it is usually judged.
And as you see, Dark Stomper's now retired.
And Dark Stomper is actually going to be behind King Panda as well.
But possibly, when Marge joins, he'll be behind Marge. In front of him, sorry.
So you see a big lock-up there from Tim, Lee, into the new complex that we're going through there, and he had a big lock-up on the right front into left-hander, which you don't see very often, actually.
No, not often, but it is possible. You need to watch, because that will wreak havoc on your tyres, and these will be ones you'll be using for the rest, so you want to try and tread carefully. There's no pun intended there.
Yeah, definitely. You really do, actually. And as you were saying last week, Lee, this track, it feels like a completely different track altogether compared to the full Grand Prix circuit.
Oh yeah, it does. It's just without requiring a totally different setup, to be honest. You're requiring more downforce on the car than usual, to be honest. So it is different. You need to approach the corners a bit different. You'll notice that you'll not get as much understeer. So, because you're not having to sacrifice the wing for the long straight.
Yeah. It's definitely almost sort of hungry like downforce here. Just because of all the corners. You can still get some good racing here. Obviously there are overtaking opportunities here still at turn 1, of course, as usual, because that's the only DRS straight on this circuit. Not something we're disused to, actually, with the 1 DRS circuit, 1 DRS straight, sorry. Obviously we have that at Suzuka as well, and they had that at Portimao last year, and Imola, of course. It's only got 1 DRS straight, so it's not something that anyone's not used to before. But where else you say, Lee? It would probably be out of this new section, sort of into the sector 2, sector 3 of the GP circuit, where there's still overtaking opportunities to be had.
Oh yeah, I mean, the preferred line for as I'm just watching Judge Santi come up to the corner, it is an overtaking opportunity there. As you notice, Judge Santi takes a wide entry into there, so it gives you a chance to possibly sneak your nose in. So it isn't totally impossible to get an overtaking manoeuvre done here, but it is a bit hard, so I can see that being a bit of a problem for Dark Stomper and Panda.
Yeah, I can as well. As you see Judge Santi going 6th fastest there with a 106.5. So what you're saying about the track and looking at these times, Lee, it's definitely not really a short circuit with the time.
No, I mean, Austria is quicker, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 103.
And I think Brazil was about the same, is it?
But I really think this circuit, you've seen Judd actually, he's really on the limit still, and he's taking the new middle complex very, very well there actually. And it just is a really, really technical circuit actually. There's no break in this circuit, is there?
No, you're constantly under pressure the whole track really. You're constantly putting pressure on the tyres, so it's one where you need to watch for your temperatures. I mean, you could easily start putting, especially your front tyres, into the red zone for temperature. So you have to watch out for that.
Just seeing Harry. We've seen a lot of invalidations actually, Lee, so a lot of people are struggling, and I'm assuming with Sector 2's corners, didn't know actually how many turns it has on the circuit. Obviously we've got turn 1 here, and we'll literally work out when we're on board with Gotts. He gets a big kick out of turn 1, and we'll go through turn 2 now, and obviously we've got this Maggots Beckett's sort of complex here with turns 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then into 7. And then we've got 8 and 9 here, and 10, which he's invalidated, and down to turn 11. So there is a lot of corners here actually, with turn 12 and it's turn 13 now.
There's only 6 corners that have been took out.
But there have been some that have still been added, of course.
Yeah, there's what many there? 1,
2, 3, 4.
So 2's been taken out altogether.
So we're just seeing God's still in 6th place, of course, with that invalidation. He's going again. I think a lot of these drivers, Lee, are on just the one tyre with a bit of fuel on board, actually, just getting a few laps under their belt, because you can do quite a few laps in 18 minutes.
Oh yeah, but I'm not sure if they realise that they're all two anyway, technically.
Oh, and he's invalidated again, it's God. So everyone's struggling with that track limits on the exit. And I think, especially with the new track, Lee, the wise thing to be doing would be do a couple of laps where you're not really on the limit that much, and then have a go, you know, just get a banker in, make sure you're comfortable, and to see everyone just goes that little bit wide on that exit at the start of the 4-corner complex, Lee.
Yeah, it's sometimes
Just going to say, a little tip for anyone that's listening who's racing right now, just if you go out onto that red concrete, just take a little lift and then get back on the power. It won't invalidate your lap. As long as you don't gain too much time from it, it won't invalidate. So if you think you're going to overshoot it a little bit, just lift off and you may still get an invalidation, but it's less likely you will.
There you go, your daily time tip for the day. But yeah, I've noticed that before. Like,
what, a little lift?
Yeah, and that does. The problem with me was I just kept it planted. So that was probably why a lot of the time.
That's how I stopped myself getting penalties, to be fair, last week. It's just doing that little lift through there every time. You can take quite a lot of apex there as well, more than you think. Just turn a little bit early.
I mean, you've also, the problem with me has been on a controller, so trying to use that at this track is difficult. Sometimes with the more technical tracks like USA and like say Japan, I struggle with a bit. Especially that Dunlop curve. Jesus.
Yeah, it's not a great corner, that. We're seeing Gods on the lap. We'll see if we can get a lap in now. And he's right on the edge of track limits there. It's nice driving into that new complex. But he's gone wide on that exit down the former DRS straight for this circuit. Obviously no DRS there, too short. But yeah, it was a bit greedy on the exit there, Lee.
Yeah, sometimes it could, that wee bit of greed could sometimes make or break your race, but hey ho, it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Just seeing Beckett now. Obviously none of these drivers are going to be knocked out in this session. Got a yellow flag in sector 2 there. Looks like a Ferrari potentially.
Yeah, that's out of fuel, I think you just miscalculated. Easy mistake to make at this track, really.
Got Iggy Combo on his outlap. We've still not had not Luke Beck. He's still not set a lap. Lee.
Just looked in the comments there. We've got Vedran saying hello. What's up, Vedran? How's it going? Let's see who else is on a lap. Oh, Phoenix is on a lap. Big lock up there, coming to the left-hander there at the end of where the old straight would be. New shape there. It is quite a hard track also to keep your brakes cool.
It is, yeah. The wear's not so bad. Obviously, this is 100% distance, so the wear in qualifying is actually all right. But it's just seeing Iggy. They're all. To be fair, if this is going to be the session you push, this is the session you push. I suppose they've got nothing to lose apart from wiping themselves out, of course.
Yeah, that's the only problem that you have. I mean, I've done it myself. I think it was a qualifying 2. No, qualifying 1 it was actually that I'd done it. And here it was, I'm like, I'm through anyway. I'm like, I've got to go out and just see if I can improve on multiple times. Right at the end of qualifying 1, out of turn 1, bang, a spin, at the wall, wheel flying off, just debris everywhere. I'm just like, why? Why did you have to push? You could have just stayed in the pits and just played it safe.
Yeah. I know what you mean, mate.
Here I'm sitting for another, what, 20 minutes? 30 minutes or something, I was like, gutted.
So I'm just with not Luke Beckley. He's the only man not to set a lap. Obviously, he needs to get a lap in to get through, because if you don't set a lap, you won't get through. But obviously, As we're seeing Gods just on the inside there. May have been a little bit of a distraction for the Racing Point driver as he comes into the final corner. He comes across the line, goes 4 fastest, 4th and 5th for Racing Point.
That's decent. That is really good.
That is good. I think H. Bosworth is just starting his lap. No, he's not. He's in no ERS at the moment. And we're just seeing Beckett on his lap. I think, no, he's also not on a lap. Got a lot of people that are just coming into the pits now. I think Iggy may just be attempting a new lap. Lee, and he's in 15th at the moment. There's a big lock up into turn 1.
I think, judging by the skies, it's going to be clear all qualifying and the wet race. So they're going to be wanting to practice as much as they could, because, well, they're not really going to be using these tyres at the end. There'll be just that one set of softs.
This is seeing Iggy invalidate. This is a bit of insight for next session, Lee. Obviously there's nothing on the line at the moment, but of course they need to get these track violations out of the way in Q1, because you don't want it happening later on in the qualifying session.
The thing I would advise to people out there is, at this track, you're probably best just travelling at, say, 80% your usual speed, like, and trying to be more careful than like pacey. You don't want to be picking up all those penalties, because in the end it's not worth it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Just seen Iggy is going again, Lee, but he's really running low on battery now, which I think is going to hinder him. Seeing Gods retire from the session, we're seeing Iggy going through the S's into the new right-hand complex there as he gets onto the gravel and onto the grass as well, and he's scrapped that lap for sure, and still down in 15th, so he's really struggling there.
Yeah, I seen when he went across when he went into the gravel there, into that wee complex chicane, is that you're actually seeing that loads of, like, where previous other drivers in the session have went over that exact same route.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like, you've never noticed that before in this game. I think he's just getting in the front slots. He knows he's safe.
Yeah, might as well. He's got no battery though, so he's just pushing for the fun of it now. He's definitely not going to improve his time with no battery. We'll go on to someone else now. We'll go on to Josh in the Ferrari, a new reserve driver tonight, one of Beckett's friends, along with not Luke Beck as well, who's come in to actually take a Racing Point seat, but Fatality wasn't here tonight, so Josh is taking his seat for tonight. As we've seen him come around the final corner, he's got 107.2 to beat 107.1, so he just goes a 10th faster. Ferrari 11th and 12th for the time being, so we've got 2 team pair-ups at the moment with Ferrari and Racing Point.
I just realised something. Before he set that time, the gap between Phoenix and Josh was 1,000th of a second.
Oh, was it? I didn't realise.
If he improved by 111 of a second, Jesus. So they two are really similar on pace today. Well, at least in this session, anyway.
So we're just seeing Josh running around. I think he's got no fuel, so he's just waiting to come into the pits, and then we'll get into QT. Obviously, we don't have Mars turn up.
Yeah, it's he may end up getting slammed. If he comes in, he's going to end up getting slammed into a different car.
Yeah. So just seeing Josh cross the line to finish that session.
There we go. So, 2 seconds, mate.
No worries. Yeah, so our top 3 for this session was Tim, Carl and Rue. So it's a Dutch 1 to 3rdly. And first to third, sorry. And the drivers out in the session with quali bands was Panda and Dark Stomper. So it's going to be interesting to see Dark Stomper come from the back. He has done it before, of course, in Austria in round 8.
Yeah, he has done it. It's still at this track, I would say it is a tall order.
And those guys at the front, they are pretty close together, I must admit. A couple of tenths separating the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the one good thing, of course, about full qualifying for the circuit is hopefully we won't have anyone trying to go the wrong way at the start of the race.
Yeah, it gives everybody a chance to make sure it's not a right you take, it's a left.
Yeah.
After the S's. The amount of times I've seen it, especially at Bahrain, is unreal.
So of course we've got a wet race to start this race, so I can imagine everyone's going to come out on the soft compounded tyres would be my guess. It wouldn't be logical otherwise. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Got H. Bosworth going on to the medium tyres. Well, it's saying on the medium tyres. We've got a few drivers out on outlaps, and now we're starting to get into where it's all starting to get serious in qualifying now, Lee.
Yeah, this is the bit of a crunch time we've got for the top 10. So we could see who's going to get through and who's going to keep it on the track, we'll say.
Yeah, we will do. Seeing Tim just getting out of the way of a Ferrari driver of Josh, I think. Yeah, we've seen coming round into this tight complex here in the start of Sector 3. Of course, Sector is slightly different on this circuit. I think this is just about the start of Sector 3 here. And obviously, because the track is just a little bit shorter, but not that many corners less than the GP circuit. We said before, 2 corners less. Obviously, with a couple added on this circuit that we don't use in the GP circuit. You're seeing Rabbi in the Mercedes Lee going into turn 1.
Yeah, I'm on board with them now.
He's taking the S's quite nicely, as said. See how he takes this left-hander now to try not to invalidate. Oh, and he gets a big kick of oversteer out of that corner, and takes the chicane rather well, actually, to compromise that exit. With that compromised exit.
Yeah, he was honestly looked like he was just like a very, very small unit of measurement away from invalidating there. And I think you know the unit of measurement, you know.
Yeah. As we're seeing Rabbi coming round the quick right-hander, you see there was the end of Sector 2. So the Sector 3 is actually only a couple of corners as we're coming round the penultimate into the final. And takes a lot of entry curb there. It was quite greedy, a 106.2, so he sets the benchmark. We've got a Ferrari coming across the line of Josh, and then a McLaren of Tim, who goes over just under a second faster than Rabbi there. Rugo slots into second there in the Red Bull with a 105.5. And everyone is out on the track. Sorry, apart from Judd Santi, who isn't out on a track yet. We've got Trismic on the mediums, which seems rather odd. They may not know it's a wet start to this race. Got Phoenix coming into the final corner. See what he can do, and he's invalidated right at the end of his lap. He got too greedy on the curb on the exit, and it really unsettled the car, and he took all 4 wheels off the track, and that would have invalidated his next lap as well, Lee.
Yeah, Darismic nearly done the same there. He turned in a bit late, went in a bit deep into the final corner. Oh, as we see, Darismic spun at turn 1, getting back on the power.
Oh, and he's just into the wall. He needs to be careful with drivers coming through and not getting it in their way. I can't see anyone as of yet. There is someone coming in to turn 2 now, which was Cons. And he's able, that was nice there, getting back on the track safely there, Lee. And he's nicely now getting out of the way for another driver coming up, actually.
I've seen Cons and I have no idea how it's not validated. That was nicely done. Going on to that chicane.
Yeah, I'm just with Cons now. She's coming through these tight corners in sector 2. And just coming up to the flat out right-hander. Usually turn 17, but not on this circuit. I think it'll be turn 15 on this circuit as we come round the final 2 corners. Into the final corner we go, and he's got to get over a 108.4 at the moment. He does, a 108.1, and slots in 9th place, and Drismic just below him. He's starting to pick up some pace now, I think, Consley, like having his wheel for a few weeks.
Yeah, I've noticed that you can clearly see he's been doing a lot of practice with it, and it has been paying off, as he has been getting quicker and quicker every single time. So,
seeing not Beck cross the line, 6th fastest, sorry, Lee, 106.4. Slots himself in the midfield. We'll see what H. Bosworth does in a few moments. Somebody's actually coming up to turn 1. He's got Rue on the apex. He does get out of the way. I don't think he held him up too much. A lot of traffic on the circuit though, Lee.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to expect that with this, just DH Bosworth invalidating again. But you've got to expect that with this track, with it being so short, you're bound to get a lot of traffic. Yeah.
I've seen H. Bosworth, Lee. He's invalidated his lap time, so he's struggling.
I'm on board with him. It was going through the S section. I think it was like the turn 4. He invalidated it, so quite unfortunate.
I think we're seeing Cons on another lap on the medium tyres. The only man now on the medium tyres, and we've got 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go in this session. And he's just coming into this tricky left-hander, which every driver has been struggling with today.
It's nice and smooth there, actually.
Turn 7, yeah, he did take it nice and smooth as we're coming round into this tight sector 2 complex into turn 13 here. And they're just coming up. Turn go on.
The stadium section there, it reminds me slightly of the Mexico stadium.
Yeah, just a bit more undulation on this circuit. It is kind of similar. I think this is a bit of a more pleasing complex than Mexico personally. He's gone up again, 107.4. Con's got Judd on a lap just in that middle sector, taking a lot of the curb but not too much, and judging that to perfection as we're going into turn 11 now and turn 12.
Was that no pun intended there?
No pun intended.
He judged it perfectly, yeah.
I didn't even realise I did it. Thanks for that, Lee. I see him now coming around these flat out right-handers. Seems like he's setting a pretty good lap time and getting generous on that throttle out of turn. Final corner now, and gets up into the top 10 proper into P5 with a 106.1, and quite a nice time there for Judd.
Yeah, he's right up there. I mean, that's one thing I've been noticing about himself, as well as that as we've got through the seasons, like, he's been improving, getting right up there sometimes, you know. I think what it is, it just depends on people's tracks, really. I mean, one track that I'm quite good at is China, which I don't really like too well. but it is still a good track.
Yeah.
And it's a weird one. It's like I think it was you, Julie, before you weren't really a fan of Bahrain, I think it was.
Yeah.
And now you love it.
It's one of my favourites. Yeah, it depends from game to game, I think. They do vary. The thing is, though, I've never actually compared game to game, actually, from the old year's game to the new one. Might try it this year.
Yeah, that's one thing I was thinking about doing, was actually re-downloading the F1 2019 and comparing last year's game to this one.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll have to see. Anyway, we'll get back to these times. They're quite close at the top end. Carl's slotted in first place. Obviously, they're all on the softs, and it's going to be pretty manic, I can imagine, at the start of the race, Lee, with the wet start for, looks like, 3/4 of the race.
Yeah, so it's going to spice things up a bit. So I'm expecting to see, I would say it'd be a 2-stop, I would imagine, would be the best. Possibly doing a double wet and then onto the softs, possibly.
Yeah.
Well, or wet inter, should I say.
Oh, Phoenix is off the track at turn 7, and he's spinning round and facing the wrong way. He needs to be careful not to get disqualified, and he was very lucky not to there. He needs to be careful entering the circuit as well, because he's in a pretty sketchy place, and he's got away with that pretty nicely. Got Iggy coming out the final corner, and really not happy with the back end of his car there, and he was going left, right and left again out of the final corner, and got across the line in a straight line in the end.
I'm on board with Cons as he's starting his first lap on the soft compound. Just seeing how well he does here. Nice and smooth. Takes a lot of apex there.
He's
nice.
done that really. Oh, he's got away with that. I think he lifted off a little bit.
Yeah, that was good. That was nice and smooth, to be honest.
It looks like he. Let's see if he can get himself into the top 10. If he's got enough fuel on board, of course, because these tyres are quite durable in this on this track actually. That he could do 2 laps. To be fair, he's got enough time to do a cool down. So we'll just see if he does. As he's coming around the final couple of corners now. And let's see what time he sets. He's got to be at 107.4. He's got a 165 at the cut-off point, and he's invalidated out of the final corner. He's going to have to go again. And people have been struggling with that corner, the final corner, in turn 7, Lee. All of this qualifying session.
I mean, that is a weird one sometimes. I mean, like you said earlier on, the track does feel completely different compared to when you're usually on the full track.
Yeah, it does. And it's just funny, it's those 4 corners you just saw there with Cons going through them there. But yeah, no, it does. It feels like a very different circuit.
It's all to do with the setup though that makes it all that different. I mean, you've got your roll bars and your suspension will be completely different, I would imagine. Same with your tyre pressure as well.
Yeah.
We see Cons is getting ready for a lap again.
So we'll stick with Cons again. Let's hope he doesn't invalidate again. He technically would have enough time to do another lap, but he'd have no time to do a cool down lap. But let's hope he doesn't need that. So the cut-off still is a 106.5, but there's a couple of people in the 5s and the 4s, so it's all pretty close there. In the mid 106s, he's validated again. and just being too greedy. He has got enough time to get around, but has he got enough fuel? This track is quite short, so if you put in 10 kilos, you'd have enough time to do a few laps.
I think 5 kilograms, you get about 4 laps or something. Now he's coming around at one point, she's going now the short into the left-hander there into
big lock up. Oh, and he spins, and he's in the wall, and he's hit the rear of his car, but obviously we don't get any damage from the rear, so he's got away with that one. He's not got enough time to set another lap, so he's going to be out in Q2 and he's around again. Needs to be careful about that throttle pedal, because he might get himself in a bit of trouble with those tyres, especially. So Harry Bosworth has finished his qualifying session in 9th, and Josh has as well, so they're in the danger zone at the moment. We've got Iggy on a lap, and we've got Cons on a lap as well, so we'll go with and Dopey Lemons. He's not actually, he's on a slow lap, so he's out in qualifying as well. Drismic is in 15th, and is technically his second home Grand Prix in the USA, but obviously Texas Grand Prix is tonight with the short circuit. We're seeing what Cons can do now into the final 2 corners, Lee.
Yeah, let's see if he's going to manage to get it up there into the top 10.
So he goes 12th fastest, 106.6. He was very close, a 10th off, but he's out. Let's see what Iggy can do. Can he get himself into Q3? No, he doesn't. 14th, 107.2. So he's also out in qualifying, so no one moved it up, and H. Bosworth and Josh are now safe. Lee, I don't think Luke's on a lap. He isn't. He's just come across the line, and that is the end of qualifying. We're just waiting for Dopey Lemons, and he's gonna run into the pits, it seems, and just gonna give him a few seconds, and then we're gonna get into Q3, Lee. Was that loud?
What was that?
A certain animal. That was very loud. I could hear it through my headphones, so I felt like that was really loud.
It was only bit, but it was cool.
Sorry about that, guys. Maybe I'll get Yogi to come and do commentary with me one day and see how that goes.
Get Yogi and Chewbacca to do it together.
I should have done that last week, mate, on May the 4th.
Oh,
anyway.
Darn it.
Anyway, the top 3 for the session again. We're the three Dutchmen again, Lee, with Carl, Tim and Roo. So they're really hooking up this USA short circuit. The drivers going out this time are 5 drivers: Drismic, Iggy Combo, Phoenix, Cons and Dopey Lemons. So H. Bosworth, Lee, is consistently getting into that top 10 now.
Yeah, I mean, well, while I'm looking at the times, I mean, some people, I'm thinking it's all to do with how people set their car up here, to be honest, I think. Like, it's totally, no one will have the same one, I wouldn't imagine.
No. Some people would have got it quite right, and I think some people would have got it quite wrong as well.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I mean, it took me so long.
It's wet, so that even changes it. And I bet people didn't do a wet setup, but we don't know how wet it's going to be, of course. If it's intermediate, you can get away with the dry setup, but not so much with a wet one. Lee?
Yeah, sorry, I was a message.
It's no worries. So it doesn't look like we're going to get Drismic in the end, which is a shame. We are starting to see some of these drivers come out on out laps. Rabbi, I think, is first, and then Rue is in second. And Tim is out as well. I can imagine Kyle will be coming out pretty soon afterwards. So it's looking pretty good, Lee, for Racing Point and Alpha Tauri at the minute. Both of their drivers from both teams are in the top 10 for qualifying.
Yeah, so they've got a good chance at some constructors' points here today, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's the only two teams with a pair of drivers in Q3. Everyone else are on their own. We haven't got anyone starting their lap yet, so I think Rabbi's going to start his lap first, which he is now, just coming out of the final corner. Let's see what kind of time he can do, Lee. He comes up towards turn 1, so the first driver to start this Q3 session on his flying lap. Said this S section here through turns 3, 4, 5, 6, and now into 7. And then we've got this really tricky 8 and 9, got a car ahead, and through 10. Obviously quite used to this part of the circuit now through the new turn 11 and 12, renumbered for this short circuit, turn 13. He's looking pretty good at the minute, Lee. He's had a pretty good lap on board there through turns 14 and 15 into 16, and then the final of 17. As he goes wide off the track, and he does a big lift to make sure he doesn't invalidate. So that was wise driving to make sure he gets his lap in. Obviously, he's going to go fast. He's 106 dead, and I think that probably cost him a 2 or 3 tenths potentially, Lee.
Possibly. I mean, with a margin, so you haven't come up to be better. It does cost you a bit of time.
So Rue did a 105.3. Now we're going to see Tim cross the line. 105.196 for Tim. So he's just a little bit ahead. Obviously, we've got Carl to do his lap. H. Bosworth has invalidated his lap time. Got Judd coming around the last couple of corners. Luke's just started his lap. Judd just coming across the line. 106 dead as well. So these two times are very close for 3rd and 4th. Got the ice cream van as per. I don't know if we had it last week actually, Lee, but
I'm not even sure.
I was just seeing Carl come around the last 2 corners, 16 and now 17. He's got a 105.1 to beat, and 105.5, so he's got to pull a lot more out of his pocket, Lee, to get the pole position on his second run.
Yeah, I mean, they'll still have another set of views thing, so. But then again, a lot of them have done a lot of laps in practice. Well, we could say it was practice, should we say, in qualifying 1. So,
H. Bosworth sorts in. We've got a few drivers in this 106, low 106 mark, Lee. 4 drivers at the moment, so there is sort of a closed up pack starting to happen in the midfield. Obviously, we've got not Luke Beck, who hasn't set a lap. We've got Gods out on an out lap.
So I wonder who he is down there.
Say again?
I wonder who he is then. If he's not Luke Beck, then who is he? That's the question.
That is a very good question. Is he Beck Luke? Maybe.
Time will tell, maybe.
So we're just going to see God start his lap with the ice cream van coming round again. Oh, that's loudly. Sorry about that, guys. You see God start his lap, so we'll stick with him throughout this lap. I think he's the only man on a fast lap at the minute through turn 1. Obviously that uphill left-hander, which is quite hard to see the apex until the final few seconds. It was almost a bit of a stab in the dark for that one as we come into turns 5, 6 and now 7 and 8, 9 and into 10, the new chicane complex in sector 2. So he comes down to turn 11. He's seeming to have a pretty good lap, a tiny bit of lockup from those front tyres there, as you could hear, as he comes into turn 13 now. A bit of a lockup again on the left front as he comes into the left-hander. And round turn 14 and 15 says purple sector 2, but it does say that for a lot of drivers. But it does look like a pretty decent lap so far, getting right on the edge of track limits there on the penultimate corner. Through the final once again, and goes third fastest. Good time from God, slots himself in very, very close behind, 6 milliseconds behind Rue for second place, but Tim has got that around 2/10, just under 2/10 margin to second place at the moment.
Let's see, we've got Beckett, who's on a lap now, going through the S section into this complex chicane bit now. Takes that nice and smooth onto the old DRS straight. Big walk up there into the apex. Headwind there. Into the stadium section. Out wide, cutting right in. Could have took a bit more curve there. Getting in tighter. He's going to want to keep it in a bit tight here. Nice and smooth there. Oh, bit of a walk up into the final corner with the split on.
Last of the times, 106.5, so Beckett is a little bit off the pace. Obviously a few weeks ago he got his first podium on a Tuesday night. He got that third place, so he probably won't be too happy with 9th place at the moment. But he's going to be close on time to get back to do another lap, Lee, I'd say, if he's got enough tyres to do another lap, or even wants to. Got Beckett starting another lap. And, sorry, Beckett, not Luke Beck, starting a lap, sorry. As he comes around turn 1 into the flat out, turn 2, easy flat here, and then we get into the tricky stuff in sector 1. Obviously it's very short sector 1, as it's already into sector 2 now, so it's only a few corners, and we've got the long at sector 2. He's right on track limits there at turn 7, but was able to keep it on the straight and narrow and not invalidate his lap time. Just coming into the, as Lee said, it's quite appropriate name, stadium section here at Texas Grand Prix, as he comes around turn 14 and 15.
Sorry, I've just got a wee bit of info there from Phoenix in the comment section. He says, not sure what's shown on the rest of the driver's weather prediction, but he only had rain for the first quarter of the race.
Interesting. So we'll have to wait and see. Mars has joined the session. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get in the right car though, unfortunately. But he has joined just in time. He might potentially get his correct car. If not, I think he'll be in a McLaren. But we'll have to wait and see.
Two-thirds odds that it's going to be a Rhino though. As there is only 3 seats left, so yeah. Let's see, what I've not even got my data up properly. Only me. Forward, I'm watching him on a lap, look up there and final turn. Oh, he invalidates the last corner. Something's happened with Beckett, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He's in 10th place.
I think he's just taking a slow up. I know exactly what he's doing. He'd be burning fuel.
Yeah, maybe. We've got 1 minute 10 left in this session. Got Luke retired from the session, so he doesn't think he can go any faster in this race. We've seen Judd looking like he's going to potentially get a penalty, Liz. He's cutting quite a few corners. To get round in time, so we'll have to see what the stewards say about that after the race, because don't see that being a really good thing to do, as we both find that a bit of a irritation. As we're seeing Carl come round the final, sorry, Gods is just about to start his lap, just come out the final couple of corners. Got all these top 4 drivers on laps, and I think as you see, H-Bots were just getting it all sorted out in time. Got Beckett very close behind him. That's not going to be ideal for him. Got Carl coming around the final couple of corners into the final one now, and he was at top of the standings in Q2. Let's see if he can get it up there as he goes to 3rd fastest, so he's not going to be on pole. 105.5 again, just slots in ahead of Gods. Rue goes fastest and is on preliminary pole position. We've got Tim coming around the final corner now. Can he snatch it away? He's only got to get a tenth and a bit out of his lap time, which he does, and he goes into the 104, so 104.9 for Tim. That was a decent lap. As we've seen Gods come into the final corner now. None of these drivers have been validated as of yet. Goes 3rd fastest, knocks Carl down. Got Rabbi on a lap. Judd is in the pits with an invalidation, so Rabbi is also invalidated, so that's the end of qualifying day.
Yeah, so that was it was a bit interesting. I mean, we've seen like again with we'll just call it practice and qualifying too. We've seen a lot of invalidations and that, but it seems that they are getting less and less as the sessions have went on.
Yeah.
Which is good to see. But mind you, it is raining, so it will take a wee bit to get used to, as they'll only be used to driving in the drive here.
Yeah. So that, guys, is the end of Q3 and the end of qualifying, with Tim in first place with his 104.9, the only one to break the 104 marks. Rue is in second place, 3rd is Gods, 4th is Carl. Rabbi is 5th, 6th is Judd Santee, not Luke Beck is 7th, H. Bosworth is 8th, Beckett is 9th, and Xenex Josh is in 10th place.
So yeah, it's notice the midfield section from 5th to 10th was only separated by like 0.3 of a second.
So the midfield's looking like it'll be pretty close. So obviously we're just going to get ready now. We'll see what the weather's looking like in literally a few seconds time. And it's not looking too bad, actually, Lee. Is that potentially a crossover? As I'm looking at the tarmac there.
I think maybe it's like 75% dry at most, but I could be wrong.
It is looking.
Oh no, it's centres.
It's looking pretty touch and go. Is it potentially intermediate? So I can't see, actually. I don't know how you can see.
Just check. I checked the restrictor.
So it is intermediate, but it is very close, I'd say. Oh, maybe there is a little bit more standing water than you were thinking. Mars is in his Renault, Lee.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So that was quite lucky, and obviously those three have got qualifying bans, but we have got 18 drivers in this race. So we'll just get these telemetries up, and obviously this is a very quick formation lap. As you can see, there's 56 laps of this race, so it's just going to be probably a little over an hour, I'd say, Lee. With this wet conditions, it's made it just a tiny bit longer, but hopefully we will be able to see some good racing. I saw last week DJ Death Dragon and Tay Pastor had a really good battle up front last week, so we'll see what can happen. Obviously we know Rue and Tim know each other well, so we'll see how they get on, as well as Carl, of course. But we'll have to see, and obviously keep an eye out for Mars and Dark Stomper, especially trying to get their way right up into the points, obviously, especially for Dark Stomper being the lead of the championship. So I wonder how much rain we're going to have, Lee, and for how long. It looks like the conditions are reasonably stable at the moment.
Yeah, it just looks like light rain at the moment. I do think it's just going to get lighter, so I would say, I'm just going to put a rough guesstimate on this, and I would say what, say 21 going to drop.
Lap 21, so about just over a third of the way into the race then.
That's just a guess, right? So don't quote me on that fully.
Okay.
Unless
so
it happens, then I'm missing.
So we're just waiting now for these drivers to get underway. Obviously we're just going to have to wait for their cars to rev up. And we're away in Tuesday night racing for the Texas Grand Prix, and Tim looks like he's getting a decent start. H. Wadsworth has got a decent start. We've had Josh leave the session, see if we can get an invite in from Lee pretty quick, because he might cause some issues with some drivers. It's looking like there's a bit of carnage at turn one, and right at the back of the field there's some cars going round, I think, and spinning potentially. Got Iggy struggling right at the back, got Phoenix struggling, obviously got Josh who's left the session. Yellow flag in sector 2. These conditions are a bit of a struggle for a lot of these drivers, I think. Got another yellow flag in sector 2. Rabbi is off the tracks. Josh has rejoined, and Rabbi is really struggling with these conditions with the AI car. They're trying to go down the inside of him now. He's obviously going to have to pit for new tyres. Cons is making some places up. He's gone up into 9th place now. He's had a really good start in these wet conditions.
He was right on the gearbox to hit Bosworth, giving him the wheel lock up there.
Let's see what happens with King Pandas right on the back of Rabbi, and looks like Tim has pulled a bit of a lead on Carl by about 1.2 seconds, so he's already out.
Making a move on H. Bosworth, and he'll finish straight, and he gets it done before the braking zone.
Look at that, Dark Stomper all the way from 17th to 10th in one lap, which is pretty mega from the Haas driver, and he's our championship leader, and he's actually being followed quite closely by Mars. First time penalty lead from Rue, already a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Got to be careful on this track. Got Dark Stomper behind his teammate Cons, who also now gets a penalty. I think we're gonna see a trend of this, Lee. See if Dark Stomper goes down the inside on Cons. He's being a bit tentative there into turn 8, and he's going to look to go the long way round. No, he's going to have a look for the switch back, and I think Cons is just let him go. You want to try and hold up Mars for him, though, of course, because he's been following his way through. Mars is going to have to go to the outside as Cons goes defensive, and he sticks left at the left-hander and holds that last point position.
Yeah, you would have just let Dark Stomper get past, because he knows that he is. Oh, and Jose Con, the wee wobble, gets onto the curb, exit of the penultimate corner.
And it looks like Harry is overtaking Cons as well. They're going to have a drag race up to turn 1, I would believe. Looks like Cons is going to have a look to the inside. He does. And tries to take a much tighter line. He's going to give him the squeeze on the exit. No, he gives him a nice bit of room on the outside. But unfortunately for him, then let Bosworth just go straight through on him and take that 11th place back away. Got Phoenix right on the back of them as well. There's some quite close battles happening on track, Lee.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, Dark Stomper, he's just stomping his way through the field. Up now, he's managed to get a great start into this race. Same with Mars, who's up in his tail. Also, he'll be hoping that Dark Stomper has to battle a little with Beckett and Gods and Dopey Lemons up ahead.
Yeah.
In order for him to catch up a little.
Yeah. No, I agree. As we're seeing Dark Stomper getting very, very close. Got Josh making some places on his teammate Phoenix. And he's also going to have a dive to the inside on Josh. And I can see that coming a mile off.
Yep. Oh, and the thingy, Panda's got damage. I think Panda's got damage. He got caught up in that when he came around the corner. He tried to dodge, but
there's some moves going on right at the back of the field. On the inside, Drismic goes and double overtake from Drismic. What a move from the American in the Mercedes car. I say that, but Panda's just got the place back. It was a ballsy move from and Iggy's now trying to take that 16th place back as well, and he has to give up the position going into the S's. You can't go side by side through there. We've got Cons spun around in the S's at turn 6. We've got Drismic struggling with Iggy just being held up behind. These conditions have been a bit of a struggle for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, it's it has been. I think it's just with the combination of it being a new track on the calendar. I mean, a lot of these drivers have hardly ever raced this track really.
No,
compared to the other one, the full track.
Yeah, it's certainly shown. We've obviously still got everyone in the race in these wet conditions, so they're all taking it quite tentative. We've got Beckett, who's, I say that, commentary curse, is in the wall on the exit of the final corner. He's going to have to do a whole lap with no front wing. And sorry there, Beckett, that was a bit of a commentary curse. You've got Dark Stomper now up to 8th. Is there anything that can stop this driver from being on the rostrum?
I don't know, to be honest. He's just always constantly on the ball for some reason, and it just pays off for him. He's quick, he's consistent. Ooh, Cons with a 5-second time penalty for speeding quickly. Been watching these two Ferraris battling it out with each other.
Yeah, these two Ferraris are going hammer and tong for no points, of course. Just a bit of pride on the line. Obviously, H. Bosworth is in that final points position. He's sticking quite close behind Mars, actually. Mars has just dropped back a bit from Dark Stomper. He followed him all the way through on the first couple of laps, and now he's just dropped off the pace a little bit. Dark Stomper is now up into 8th place, and he's starting to get up with some of these quicker boys. So I'm imagining he's going to struggle to get past as easily as he was before. Got Beckett that is really struggling. Obviously, you're going to have to come into the pit lane, and don't know where he's going to come out. But obviously, we've still got a long way to go in this race, so still everything to play for. I can't imagine. I can easily see a safety car coming out before the end of this race. You see this big queue of cars here, all the way from Luke, actually, I would say, pretty much. Got Gods making a move on Dopey Lemons, and he's struggling in these conditions, and Dark Stomper has still not made any more positions up in the last lap or so.
DRS is enabled.
Very interesting.
Rabbi is in the pits, and he's already got his mediums on, same with Cons.
Cons has got the mediums on, so these conditions are a little bit mixed. This is making this race interesting. Tim, our race leader, is in the pits, Lee. And we're just going to see what these guys go on tyre-wise.
Oh, Ray's staying out. Ray is staying out.
So this is interesting, but that track is drying up pretty quickly, actually. I don't know if Rue has made a great decision there, or may have ruined his chances of a podium. But Dark Stomper is in the pits as well. Tim is out on the soft tyres as well as Carl. They're both out on the softs. Still got Mars out. Dopey Lemons is out on the intermediates.
Ferrari's double stacking. Ferrari's double stacking. It's going to slow them up. That's going to slow Phoenix up, and it looks like Drismick's going to get the jump on him.
And he's got a front wing change as well coming up. A lot of these drivers are switching and changing. So these top three have not pit, and I think that was very, very costly now, because the front man of Tim is now going to have a look to the inside on Mars and gets the move done. Dark Stomper's on the soft tyres as well, and all these intermediate runners are really struggling. That track condition changed very, very quickly.
Stomper, oh God, some of the week come together there. You see Dark Stomper, he's away going to try and stomp his way around the outside, and he gets the move done.
What a move. Maybe the move of the race there on those tyres. He's now going to overtake Dopey Lemons as well, because they're in the pits. Mars is also in the pits, so Mars and Dark Stomper were very close together, even into the pit stops a lap ago. And now look at that strategy. Mars is just coming out, and he's coming out in looking like potentially just behind H. Bosworth. I say that on the inside out of the pit lane. Mars gets the move back and gets that 8th place. What an overtake. And actually, you say that H. Bosworth is not happy about that. Ran the outside at turn 2 and tried to go wheel to wheel through there, and H. Bosworth gets the move done. What great racing between the two of them.
That was amazing. Brilliant racing there.
And not a surprise that Harry got the place back. He obviously had the momentum with the tyres from the lap before, and being on a softer compound, of course.
Yeah, as you see, Dark Stomper right in the tail of what's that right now. He's caught up to him quite quickly.
He has indeed. He's just behind him with DRS enabled. Now this should be quite easy to dispatch of the Racing Point driver. Luke looks like he's going defensive. He was very close call there. Got Luke, who gave the squeeze on the exit.
There's a wee bit of a touch there from Luke, but I think that was just with him not getting full traction from one now.
I think he had his rights to do that there. He did have the inside, and he did give him a big squeeze in the entry, so I could only expect he was going to do it on the exit as well. And it was quite good defending actually from Luke. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold it up for very much longer, as we know how good Dark Stomper's pace is. Talking about pace, Phoenix's pace is pretty decent, with the fastest lap just being set there in the Ferrari in 16th place. We'll see what Dark Stomper can do now. And Tim takes the fastest lap. Dark Stomper's still got quite a way to go. He's having a look to the inside, and they're going to go side by side through the final corner. He is going to have DRS, of course, and he has now got the high ground with the inside line as they go up the hill, and he gets the move done before the braking zone of turn 1, and now he's on the rostrum lead, but he's got 14, 15-ish seconds to catch up to Tim now, so he's got a bit of a tall order.
14.6 catch up.
Luke is sticking with him, and they have got a bit of a queue now formed up behind them as well. And if Dark Stomper can't get out of DRS within this sector, he's going to have a DRS train behind him, maybe.
Yeah, so he's going to be wanting to start using a bit more ERS if he could, and aiming to get away from everybody and Carl.
Tim sets another fastest lap there, so he's still trying to gain some time, and obviously is with the fastest man on track at the moment. Just going to go back a second. Drismic and Dopey Lemons are fighting for position there, and Drismic's giving the squeeze, and Dopey Lemons is going to go around the outside. He's going to do a Dark Stomper, gets the job done. What a move again, that round the outside there at turn 14 and 15 seems to really be working for some of these drivers.
I think the higher downforce really does help keep it gripped into the ground, and keeps the tail from spinning out.
Oh, and Gods is looking for a sneaky move on the not Luke Beck there. And
went for a move at turn 1 there. Dopey Lemons is fighting back at turn 2. They're going side by side. Going into turn 3, who's going to check it out?
Oh, and Dopey Lemons. Neither of them gave up the place.
Back on track, Dopey, but be careful.
Not
that
sure
right
how
there
much.
It was a game of chicken. That's what it really is. A lot of the time.
That is unfortunate, and neither of them wanted to back out of the situation. That would be inevitable if they neither of them back out. Going back towards the front though, Lee, not Luke Beck is holding up quite a train of cars here. I say that actually, it's only 2 cars. Is Rue? It just touches the back end of not Luke Beck there. He needs to be careful with his braking into turn 1, and he definitely seems to be gaining a lot of ground on those soft tyres. Not Luke Beck getting quite wide on the exit of 7. Rue gets a 3-second time penalty. A lot of these drivers are now starting to stack up on penalties. Dopey Lemons is obviously in the pits, and they're going to see if we get a safety car. Obviously we're only on lap 12, going to be on lap 13 soon. Dark Stomper is starting to close the gap, but not very much, Lee. Only 2/10 so far, not even 2/10 now. It's just hovering around that 10-second mark to Carl. Rue,
yeah, stop sticking there.
Rue is very, very close to the back of not Luke Beck, but not Luke Beck has still got DRS over Gods, so that's really not going to help Rue. We've got Judd Santi now getting onto the back of them as well, and H. Bosworth just a little bit behind. These drivers just starting to spread out towards the back of the field. We've got a few drivers fighting in the midfield, but some of the drivers are struggling towards the back, with some instance towards the start of this race. But at least we've still got everyone in, Haley.
Yeah, I mean, at this track, for turn 1, it is always a sort of shaky one. You don't know how things are going to go, with it being such a tight turn 1.
Yeah.
And it is a bit of a long way, so the speed does get up. It's like the same with Mexico. I'm not really a fan of the start on that. As you see, it looks like Dopey Lemons has just made a move on Cons. But Cons is coming back. He's going to try and take that inside line, but Dopey Lemons gets the move. Sorry, I forgot to take a breath there. I was doing that for some reason. This is actually quite good racing from everyone here. It is.
It's pretty close between a lot of them at the moment. Obviously, there's not many overtaking opportunities on this track, which is unfortunate. There is a couple, like I said, here with not Luke Beck and Rue. You can potentially go for a pass around here, and obviously round the outside at turn 14 and 15 is looking quite interesting. Rue's looking and to stick his nose in at turn 13, but wasn't able to put not Luke back off. Dark Stomper has a penalty. We've got these 4 drivers here now, Lee, fighting for position. Drismic is in 10th place in the last points position. I reckon Josh is going to go to the inside. He does. Big lock up for Josh, and he gets the move done, maybe, but he might have the grip around the outside again. They're going to go side by side through turn 14 and 15. Drismic giving the squeeze, and he's going to have the inside now for turn 16. And what a move, what great racing between those two. And these 4 drivers are really trying to fight over the last point of the race, like we saw at Spain in the real life GP on Sunday. At the end of the race, they're all fighting over the last point for the last few laps, and we're seeing it on lap 15 now as Drismic goes for a huge bomb on the inside, and that really cost him time. He's going to lose a place to Panda as well now, and has just given Josh a bit of breathing space now in 10th place.
Thank you, combo 3-second time penalty. Drismic gets wobbly.
He's struggling, and maybe Iggy will go for a move. No, not yet. Panda's getting close to the back of Josh as well. Got 2 tenths separating not Luke Beck and Rue. We'll see if Rue's going to have a go this time. Not yet, so he's still holding on that DRS of God, so it's really helping not Luke Beck down the straight. He's got Cons retired from the session. He's had enough. We're 1 driver down now, 17 out of 18 remaining in this race. We're on lap 16. Seeing Rue into the wall. Don't know what happened there.
H. Bosworth.
But H. Bosworth's out, safety car deployed. I've no idea what happened there. No idea what happened there, but there's safety car deployed, and Dark Stomper is now not going to make up that gap anymore, Lee.
Are there any of them going in the pits?
I'm sure a lot of them will go in the pits. I'm sure. If Harry's watching the stream, put a comment in the comment section below about what happened there. I didn't catch it. I saw Rue go off. I don't know if you just hit Rue and wasn't aware of the yellow flags, but I'm sure we'll see something.
No, this is interesting.
It is. Dopey Lemons has gone in the pits onto the hard tyres. Rue is retired from the race as well.
Oh. That's
strange.
Mm.
Did you send him a message?
Yeah, no worries.
Just a bit odd, that one, I thought. But yeah, safety car deployed now, so the pack is going to be bunched up. Tim with all his good work. Mars is now up to 3rd because Dark Stomper has pit. The top 2 have yet to pit though, Lee.
Yeah, so I think is not sure Mars hasn't pit either.
Yeah, Mars isn't pit. Oh, and now Tim and Carl are in the pit. So Dark Stomper's gonna.
Let's see, I'm on board with Tim now. Where is this going for him now?
So now, technically, with Mars not pitting, I think Dark Stomper, yeah, is going to technically take the lead of this race.
He is through the blinder.
Oh, and there was a bit of a race out of the pits there. I'm not sure we've got the position. Potentially God's got it over Carl, I think. Yeah, so these guys are all now on an even kill, apart from Mars, who's leading the race on those 9-lap-old mediums. Now only got 15 runners, with Rue also retiring from the session. 4 drivers yet to have a time penalty, Lee. which is nice to see on the short circuit.
Oh yeah, it is always better to see that you've got no pain.
Drismick's been spun round under the safety car and he's lost a couple of positions. He's now down to 11th, so it's Mercedes 9th, Ferrari 10th, Mercedes 11th and Ferrari 12th. So we're just waiting for the safety car to come in. It doesn't look like it's coming in this lap, which it's not. So we're going to run round until we start again on lap 20. And we're just over a third of the way into this race. I bet Cons is wishing he hadn't retired, Lee, now.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I would have been the same. I mean, I've done it before where I was like, I had enough, and then retired in the pits, and then immediately after I'd done that, somehow a safety car came out, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I was running in the last place, like I'm like basically like half the grid now he's in. So it was a bit unfortunate, but hey ho. Oh, as you see, somebody's got damage there. I'm not sure who. It's Carl.
It's Carl. Sorry, I had my mic on mute there for a second. Yeah, it's Carl. I don't know what happened exactly. The safety car's in this lap, so I'm not too sure what happened there. Carl is going to come into the pits. I'm not sure if he'll retire or not. He'll try and carry on. We have got a long way to go in this race, and it looks like Mars has got us underway again. Got a green flag, got a yellow flag, sector 2 and 3. Carl is in the pits. Let's see what happens. Did you get any sort of message from Rue, Lee?
Yeah.
Or just message me, you would. Drismick is through on Iggy Combo for 10th place. And Rabbi is up into 8th place as well. Now, Dark Stomper is really close behind Mars. Is he going to go for a move for the lead at turn 13? He doesn't. He's got a bit of an issue on the exit there. He really struggled to get the power down, but he's still right behind Mars, obviously on those old 11 lap old tyres. Got Drismick round again, really struggling with this circuit. Mars comes out of the final corner to start lap 21. We've got yellow flag in sector 2. Tim is trying to hold on to the back of them. Obviously Mars is doing a good job of holding him up. So we'll see what Mars, see if Mars can hold on to first place for much longer. Tim is getting a little bit closer. Carl has got a yellow flag. We'll see what happens in the next couple of laps. We're seeing Mars coming round again into turn 15 and still holding on to first place. We haven't got DRS available for a couple of laps. Got a yellow flag in sector 2. We've got Carl struggling. Carl is round again, really struggling. Got wing damage again. So really starting to lose their heads. Tim is very close behind. Dark Stomper DRS now enabled. Iggy Combo is... sorry, lost my... it wasn't Iggy Combo. Sorry, Drismic is just out of the pits and got blue flags from the leaders, and he does just get out of the way of the three of them. And oh, what a move from Tim! Dark Stomper's made a mistake, and that was crucial. With Tim going through, goes defensive. Big squeeze from Tim, and they're still going side by side through turn 11. And that's a very uncharacteristic mistake from Dark Stomper. DNF again, with Josh out of the race. Carl is also out of the race. So it's all going wrong now. It looks like we're going to be only down to 13 drivers, which is a great shame. We had all drivers in until a few laps ago. We'll just see if Dark Stomper can keep hold of Tim with the DRS, as Tim has also got DRS on Mars. Mars still holding on to that first place, and we're down to 12 drivers now with Drismic out as well. We'll just see what happens now with these front three drivers. It's a great shame though, Lee. A lot of these drivers just seem to go all at once.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing so much promise, to be honest, for a bit. Like that, hopefully everyone was going to go to finish. As sometimes I could understand it is one of them tracks that is a bit tedious. As I felt it myself last week, it did feel a bit tedious at times because it was just sometimes it's dragging around on the own. As we see Tim's making a move on Mars. He's got the DRS. Into turn 1 he's got the inside line. Is Mars going to attempt to switch back? No, he can't. That's turned back up at the lead.
Got Phoenix making a move on Rabbi before the braking zone gets in front of him. And that DRS really helped him along there. Did you message me about Rude?
Okay.
Seeing Gods is getting in this battle for the lead as well now, with Dark Stomper going up into second now.
So let's see. I've got God still travelling quite close behind these CRX compatriot. Then put it back onto that bit. Sorry, I can't even get my words out here. Could be that Scottish slip out there as well. Yeah, trying to get onto the podium here. Ooh, big walk up from Mars and God's there that I noticed. Big walk-ups. Seen quite a few walk-ups here today.
Yeah, we have. I'm still seeing these front drivers though, Lee, quite close together, so they stick together for a lot of this race. I can't imagine they won't. Obviously the guy on the back foot is Mars with those 16 lap old medium tyres. Phoenix and Rabbi and King Panda are all very close together as well, so we'll keep an eye out on them. Beckett, Dopey Lemons and Iggy Combo are all in a group together as well. We're just seeing a few little groups up together. We're seeing Gods and Mars trying to fight for that last podium position. Obviously Mars is definitely going to have to stop again. Not sure about other drivers. Obviously the tyre compounds don't matter for this race league with the wet start to the race.
Yeah, it's going to be, they could go on any tyre they want really. They could do a double medium if they want. So it's alright that way, I would say.
So 15 seconds worth of penalties for not Luke Beck. And 12 seconds and 12 seconds for Iggy and Dopey Lemons. And Rabbi as well, sorry. So got a few drivers stacking up the penalties now. 9 seconds for Darkstorm, but 6 seconds for Tim. So Tim's got a slight margin for the time being. But Mars holding in Darkstomper's DRS, which should be helping him a little bit and then some.
I thought Felix was going to go for a move, possibly, but he's a bit too far back.
See, Gods is struggling as well as Mars, obviously on those older tyres. Dark Stomper is not able to close that gap on Tim. Tim seems to have a pretty equal pace to Dark Stomper at this point in the race, though.
Yeah, they're, I mean, the medium tyres are working out good for both of them. But I'm watching Beckett right on the tail of Iggy Combo coming into turn 2.
Rabbi's looking for an overtake lead at turn 13 on Phoenix. Phoenix was given the squeeze. It's Ferrari versus Mercedes for that 8th place. And of course, Panda is wanting them to fight a little more. And a yellow flag, not Luke Beck, is out of the race as well.
Oh.
Would you just take over for a second there?
So let's see. We'll give a wee rundown of at the moment we've got Karen in first place, who's kind of ending that gap a wee bit, little by little, on Dark Stomper. Of course, he's got 1 lap fresher tyres. I'm not sure if that will give him too much of an advantage, but it still is helping. Dark Stomper, let's see. Gods is catching up to Mars still, just without that BRS range there, Phil. So let's see. Beckett is gaining on Iggy Combo again, but he still can't get close enough to get the move done. He is trying though, but he is on them softs that are 20 laps old. The Iggy Combo is feeling the pressure though. He is still trying to get away. He ends up getting more and more penalties and all over the place at the moment. On board with Gods now, and we're going to see him make a move down the start finish straight with DRS activated. I don't think so. I think he may be just saving his battery for a little while, making sure he's still got enough left later on. As you see, Beckett's finally made a move on Iggy Combo for the 8th place. Dark Stomper has spun! Dark Stomper has spun! That is unfortunate. Has he got any damage? I can't see. Yeah, he has. He's lost an end plate on the left hand side. He will be furious at this moment in time. After him being only 3 seconds away from the lead. From 17th place. He'll be away to duck into the pits for some new tyres and a new front line.
Yeah, he's going to have all the work to do again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So we'll see how he gets on.
Sorry, it's probably saying you can't hear me. I think maybe if I turn my mic up a wee bit.
You have checked your settings, haven't you?
Yeah, my settings are alright. Carly, could you give me a little bit of feedback? Do you hear me better now? I think Rabbi's about to make a move on Panda. Just give me 2 seconds. You there, mate?
Yeah, sorry mate, it's just in the middle of something. We'll see what Rabbi can do and see if we can get a move done. Gods and Mars are doing pretty decent, and we'll see if Dark Stomper can make up any places. He's not really had a very good race into the second half of the race.
No, it looks like Godson is just wanting to be tagged along a wee bit for a while. Doesn't look like he is he's fully going for the overtake by the looks of things.
Yeah, he's definitely been a bit tentative with his overtake.
Ooh. I think Panda's got damage, is he? Or was I just seeing that wrong? No, he's not. It was just the way the light was hitting it there. But I'm seeing Panda and Rabbi are constantly... Panda seems to be constantly on the defensive. As his tyres will be pretty much near enough right down to the wire soon. And Rabbi is these two are still battling out, Rabbi and Panda. Seen them a wee bit switching back and forward there. Beckett's into the pits.
Got Phoenix and Rabbi having battle at turn 1. Sorry, I had a family issue there.
Phoenix is spun round.
Phoenix is spun round as well.
Has he got any damage? Yeah, he got damage. That is quite unfortunate for him. So we still see Rabbi is still harassing Panda at this moment. He's not getting a chance to breathe really. There we go, and that's Panda into the pits. He knew that was coming, so now it's time to push. So everybody's quite spread out in the field now, except from Gods and Mars.
Yeah, and it looks like Tim's starting to run away with it a little bit, obviously. Oh, it looks like King Panda's just come out the pits just behind Dark Stomper, actually.
Oh, seen they were really close there at the apex of turn 1 there. Because Mars has made a mistake. Oh no, he's Pat.
Yeah, Mars has... no, I'm not sure actually. I think Mars actually made a mistake.
Yeah, he must have.
Yeah, with Judd Santi just behind him at the moment.
I completely missed that too. Because see, Phoenix is doing a lot now. Wondering how for a second the timing board was messed up because it had a set to leader. So, but yeah, so let's see how everything goes at the moment. Closest one at the moment is Judge Santi and Mars and Panda and Dark Stomper. But four at the back are all on track stop compared to everyone else on the medium or hard compound. So they'll be a lot quicker, especially with this being such a technical track. You see Panda is gaining on Dark Stomper at the moment. Got that gap under a second now. See you there, mate.
Sorry, mate, my controller died and I couldn't find the wire. So that was good. Sorry, I hadn't just. No, sorry, guys. Yeah, we're not getting a lot of racing. I'm sorry for all the DNFs in this race. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit unfortunate, but to be honest, that is the first time that a lot of these drivers have been driving at this track, especially on 100% with full qualifying. So they just look at the number of laps and they're just like, so it is understandable. But besides that, everybody's kind of spread out at the moment.
Yeah, just gap seems to be getting bigger and bigger, unfortunately. Obviously, Dark Stomper was going to see if we could see a fight for the lead, but he obviously made a mistake in the race.
So what's got to be your favourite USA moment then?
Not too sure, to be honest. The Kimi Räikkönen win 2 years ago was quite good.
I think that's probably my favourite as well, to be honest. Least favourite for me, and it wasn't at this track though, it was, I think it was, what was it, 2005? The one where it was like only 6 drivers were on the grid. Because the Michelin tyres couldn't handle the, I think it was like the lateral like force of going around that banked corner, could it?
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yellow flag in sector 2. Oh, we've got Ferrari round. Phoenix. Is around as well. We'd love a safety car right now. That would definitely spice it up, but I don't think that's going to happen as he's moving.
Did you see Iggy Kumbo's into the pits now? He'll be able to jump onto the soft compound, which he is. So let's see, where's this gonna put it on?
Yeah, he's going to put him a lap down. See how much further Dark Stomper can make up. Realistically, he's probably going to get about maybe 5th place by the end. We'll see how he gets on with that one. We're on lap 43. Tim is by far and away miles ahead than anyone else now, and he's really been very comfortable in this race. Judge Santi, no penalties though, Lee.
Yeah, he's been keeping it within the white lines. I could honestly say that I was going to bring him right back into this race.
Got a comment that's come in, Lee.
Oh yeah. Oh. Iggy's near disqualification. That's what H. Bosworth just put in there. He's just been told that Iggy is near disqualification.
We'll see the penalty situation.
33 seconds.
36 seconds.
Oh!
He needs to
Dude, come on. Calm it down a little.
Very careful with his track limits. Beckett has only got 3 seconds, as well as Mars actually, so they're both doing pretty well on this circuit. Gods has got 9 seconds though, and he's still quite far behind Tim. Dark Stomper is now 1.6 seconds behind Dopey Lemons. And yeah, I think Rabbi is a very realistic target for Dark Stomper, but I think Judd is just a little too far, and now Judd has got a time penalty. So everyone has got a time penalty on the board now. 2, 3 with 3-second time penalties, and then we go up and up with Phoenix, and Dark Stomper's got... Sorry. Phoenix has got 21 seconds worth of time penalties in this race. Definitely not something he's going to be proud of, so I don't think he's going to be having a very good result, probably his worst result of the season, but potentially this is why we love these short circuits. It throws something a little bit different into the mix.
Especially when it's like a half wet dry race, you know, it does spice it up a little. I mean, I don't think anyone was prepared for that.
No, I'd agree with you. Just on board with Tim at the moment. Just seeing how he's getting on. Dark Stomper, another penalty.
Ooh.
He's got past Dopey Lemon, of course. Still quite close behind. He's got Rabbi not too far up the road.
I'm still expecting to see a pit stop from Rabbi possibly, and Mars. Honestly, I'm not seeing them tyres going that far, but could be done, I would say. Another 10 laps, possibly? Near 50 laps? I don't think so. It's going to be tight.
Yeah. I agree, I think it is going to be tight. Another penalty for Phoenix. These two need to be careful about being disqualified now. They are right on that limit now.
Oh yeah, it's I think it's one more and then that's you. Mars made a big mistake there. Going into the tight left-hander of the old straight.
Well, Judd is getting very close to the back of him now. I don't think Judd's had a podium this season. I'm not too sure. I don't think he has. I could double check very quickly actually, and I will. If you just bear with me 2 seconds and I will tell you. Judd has had a 3rd place.
So this will be equal to his highest position, is it?
Yes. So just seeing Judd into turn 1, really close to the back of the Renault, and Rabbi is in the pits. Dark Stomper is now up to 5th place. I'm seeing King Panda go through now as well. I've got Beckett coming round the final corner, so I reckon it's going to be close between Beckett and Rabbi Lee.
Yeah, possibly.
It's going to look very close, I think. With yeah, Rabbi's just coming out of the pits and into turn 1.
Yep, he's just made the move. Beckett just managed to make it by a couple of seconds, fortunately for himself.
0.7 of a second separate 3rd and 4th. Eight tenths now. He's definitely within DRS, and obviously Mars hasn't got anyone to get DRS off himself, so he's going to be quite vulnerable on these straights. Both with very similar battery percentage for the pair of them. I think Mars has just got slightly more, but of course, crucially, they're both on the same amount of time penalties. Phoenix is going to be disqualified very, very soon, I can imagine.
Well, he's got a 5-second time penalty, I know that for one thing. You'll have 11.
Oh, sorry, Lee. Rabbi's going to go down the inside on Beckett at turn 1. And, he was a bit tentative there on the apex and gave Beckett the space, but now is clean through. And got quite a gap already to Beckett out of turn 2 and 3. 9 tenths separate third and fourth within the 1 second window. 9 tenths again, and he's just on the cusp of that DRS. And I think he potentially has it this lap. We'll just see now. No, he didn't get it on this lap, so Mars has made that deficit. And let's see if he's able to keep it. And it's looking likely that Tim's going to have a whole pit stop window soon.
Yeah, looks like it. I mean, realistically, if he picks now and just goes straight for the saw, you'll still technically get it, I would say.
Yeah, and of course you've got no human error at pit stops, so that's not an issue.
It's a bit unfortunate. I would love to see that sometimes, just a wee spanner thrown in. So it would be a good wee mix-up sometimes.
Yes, I agree. So we're now on lap 50. We've got 7 laps to go, and it's definitely been a long old race, this one. It's been quite grueling for a lot of the drivers who have DNF'd in this race. We're only down to 11, so only Phoenix, it looks like for the minute, will be the only one without any points on the board for this race. Still looking at Judd, and he's still quite close behind Mars, not in that DRS window though. That pit window is definitely opening up for Tim. I'm not sure if you want to come into the pits. We'll just see actually who's got the fastest lap. Dark Stomper has the fastest lap.
107 lap, which is a whole second on anyone else. Oh no, Rabbi to 107.6. And Panda with a 107.9. There are only 2 or 3 in the 107. What do you think? Do you think he'll pit? Tim will pit for the
Not too sure. I don't think so.
I think it could be worth it in the end. Because he is certainly increasing that gap. He's increased it by about, I think about 2 seconds, I think.
He's not doing it just yet. He has got a car ahead of him. I think it's Beckett, yeah. So Beckett's about to be lapped by Tim. It's almost 24 seconds is now the gap. And still increasing. That gap's gone down to 8 tenths now between Mars and Judd. This might be a fight for third place. As I said, Judd has only had 1 third place this season, so this will be his second time on the podium in the same position. And he has got those much fresher tyres, like 9 laps fresher. He should be really starting to put pressure on Mars, I'd have thought.
Yeah, it's when it looks at it's just like maybe Marta's setups, maybe just a bit much for the straight line speed compared to Santi's.
That is true. Obviously, people do fiddle with their setups. They might have quite potentially a bit of a hybrid wet-dry setup, and obviously, as we now know in hindsight, a dry setup would have been perfect.
Yep, I would have said so myself anyway.
But obviously, if they were told there was rain for a long time, I do quite like that about this game as well. Actually, with the dynamic weather, that it's not always completely truthful about when the rain is stopping, because obviously they don't always know what's going to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen for this third place either. And there's 2 fights now starting to happen on track. In these last 3 laps as we're about to oh no, sorry, these guys are about to go on to lap 53. We've got Tim in the lead, just in sector 2 at the moment. See, 9/10 now, and Judd has got DRS. Let's see if King Panda can do anything in regards to getting up to 6th place towards the end of this race. And he's only got a few more laps to go. 8/10 still, 7/10 now separate 3rd and 4th. That lap is closing up, and Judd needs to just bide his time with an attack.
It looks like Panda going to 5th place and no more penalties. None of them getting any more penalties.
Yeah.
So that would be quite a nice achievement from Panda.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've just seen Dark Stomper has been closing that gap, but not enough, and I'm surprised on those soft tyres he's not made up a little bit more on these last few laps, but he hasn't been able to close up that gap enough. We're going to see an attack from Judd. They're both really struggling on the battery in his Lisa with the downforce levels. They might be struggling for the top, so for the straight line speed at the top end of their speed down towards, or up the hill towards turn 1, should I say. So he's just got to try and go a little bit all out in sector 1 and 2 and try and make a move where we just saw there at turn 13.
Wait a minute. Am I seeing this right?
What's this?
Look how dark it's got.
It has got very dark. It doesn't look like it's going to rain though, and if it did rain, I don't think it would really affect anything now. It's just in Tim's going to start his final lap soon. Yeah, I say that right. Tim's about to start his final lap, and we're gods. And he's just down at turn 10 now, so the track's starting to look a bit slippy. Is it raining out there? King Psycho Panda is making a move. Rabbi's getting in there as well. It's a 3-way fight for 1 position. It's all hotting up with 1 lap or 2 laps to go for these drivers, with Tim just behind them. So yeah, they're on lap 55 as we know. We've got Tim on his final lap now. Rabbi's made up the move with those 7-lap old softs, and Dopey Lemons is going to look on the inside on those hard tyres, but he's obviously struggling with those tyres now. 6/10 separate Judd and Mars. We're going to have a look at this, Lee, because this is their final chance to have any opportunity. The ground's looking really, it's looking damp, but it's
it's not wet. I think it's just the light and the rubber, to be honest, because I'm not seeing any rain whatsoever.
No, it's so strange. I don't think he's going to be able to make any sort of overtake, but we'll go to Tim now, who's coming around the penultimate corner and now round the final corner for the 56th and final time, and Tim wins the Texas Grand Prix on Tuesday night racing by 28 seconds. 28 seconds. That is some achievement. Yellow flag. What's happened there? Has someone been spun round? I'm not too sure. We'll see if Judd can try anything to get that move done at the end. Obviously there's going to be time penalties that happen. God's just crossed the line in 2nd place, and Judd is so close behind, 3/10, and he's just not got enough, unfortunately. We haven't looked at the penalties. Mars is going to come home in 2nd place, 3rd place, sorry, and Judd is in 4th. Dark Stomper comes home in 5th, but I'm pretty sure he's going to lose positions with the amount of time penalties he's got, Lee.
Yeah, most likely. I think.
We'll see when Rabbi crosses the line. Has he got a big kick? No, he's been able to keep that position. King Panda goes up to 6th, though.
Oh! 20 thousandths of a second, he was off. If Panda was just that 20 thousandths of a second quicker, he would have got 5th place off of Dark Stomper.
And I'll give that to Mars as well, Lee, for that driver of the day, I think, finishing in 3rd place.
Oh yeah, that was really well done from the guy. Honestly, it's straight from the back of the grid into 3rd, that's some achievement.
So Tim wins the Texas Grand Prix, and he obviously got pole position, and he was just pretty dominant, actually, Lee. Well, very dominant, actually. He was almost Dark Stomper-esque dominant in that race.
Oh yeah, he was really just going for it. Well, we'll have a wee quick rundown. We've got Tim in 1st place, Gods in 2nd, Mars in 3rd, Santi in 4th, Dark Stomper in 5th, Panda in 6th, Rabbi in 7th, Dopey Lemons in 8th, Beckett in 9th, Iggy Crumble 10th, and Phoenix in 11th. And then we've got Luke Beck, Brisnet, Carl, Zenix, Josh, Rue, Bosworth and Cons, who unfortunately did not finish this race.
So, as you can appreciate, guys, this has been a very long stream, and I think me and Lee now need to have a little bit of chill time, I think, after that. So we won't have any interviews tonight. We're back next week. It's Singapore. Obviously on Sunday, we're back with FSL once again. I hope you enjoyed last week with Limitless. I haven't actually put any links for other channels, so I will do that in a minute, actually, as I have remembered. Next week, it's one of those that's just slipped my mind. Next week, Lee, it's on Monday?
Monday, it's France.
Oh, that's it. I was thinking, yeah, I know it's next week. So yeah, France. Next Monday, we're going to Paul Ricard on Monday Night Racing. On Sunday, sorry, to go back a step or back a day, we've got Italy. So we've got Monza on Sunday. We've got France on Monday, and Tuesday we're at Singapore for the 2nd longest race. We did have quite a cracking race last night, actually, with wet conditions at Singapore, so go and check that out from last night. Anyway, thank you very much for watching that very dramatic Texas Grand Prix and watching along with us. So anyway, that is a goodbye from me, and thanks from me and from Lee.